Good evening, and welcome to the Cleveland Photographic Society for August the 7th, 2020. Tonight's evening presentation will be our photojournalism evening, first one of the 2021 year. Tonight we're going to have 67 images submitted by 17 individual photographers. It's a wonderful turnout, and thanks to all who submitted images. As in all photojournalism evenings, there will be no judging or scores, but we will read the comments from the individual photographers that will help provide some context to their work. So we hope you enjoy the evening. Sit back and relax. Before we start, we have a couple of announcements. We have two upcoming field trips for you, one on Saturday, August 15th, which will be Sunset in the Flats. Another one on Saturday, August 22nd, which will be to Stone Garden Farms. Both of these trips are free and open to everyone. They are both outdoor locations with plenty of opportunities for social distancing, so we feel that you can have a safe experience and still get a chance to be out in the field with your camera. So we hope you'll be able to join us. Our next Friday meeting will be our creative and pictorial competition. Please note that the deadline to enter this has already passed, but you'll be able to see some wonderful creative images and hear the judges' comments. Details on all of these events and everything else we have coming up can be found on the web calendar at www.clevelandphoto.org. So you can watch this and all Friday evening meetings at your convenience on the CPS YouTube channel. We have a link right on the home page of our website, or you can visit YouTube and search for Cleve Photographic. Note that that's all one word. We suggest that you subscribe to our channel so that you can be notified whenever a new video is posted. All videos are posted starting at 7:30 on Friday evening, but after that, they're available to watch at any time at your own convenience. So tonight, as we said, we're presenting photojournalism, which basically wraps up as to pictures that tell a story. All of the photographers have submitted comments along with their images. Those comments will be read by Bill Keaton, our competition chair, Mariah Kaiser, our photojournalism person, Mike Kopkas, our president, and Chuck Fitzgerald, our first vice president. The very first images were submitted by Amber Kravitz, read by Chuck Fitzgerald.
Sorry about that. This first photo by Amber is called Puppy Love. She says, I volunteer as a photographer for a local animal rescue. We had many staged poses, but I happened to capture this couple showing their doxy some extra love. I switched it to black and white to capture more detail. This photo is called She Said Yes. I had my first actual photo shoot for this lovely couple. This was a surprise proposal, and you can tell by her face that it was a yes. This was a challenging shoot because of lighting and crowds and the fact that I'm still totally new. Title of this is Going In for the Kiss. I was able to capture the first kiss from this newly engaged couple. I cropped it this way because the Ferris wheel holds special meaning and memories for them, and I liked having the sign with the ticket price as the background. I also think it makes the photo more interesting. 2020 is canceled. This is a photo I took of my daughter in her prom dress. We were taking a lot of fun and happy photos, but I captured her in this moment of sadness as she really thought about prom and graduation being canceled. I did not crop tighter because I like the contrast of the wall and the grass against her dress. Feels like we're dancing in air. Again, my daughter during a more joyful moment, her boyfriend picked her up and started spinning her around to get her to smile. I would say he succeeded. I was not fully prepared to get this shot, so I know composition-wise it could use some work, but I just love the pure joy on their faces.
The next images are by Belinda Prinz.
All All right, the first image is called Park Goers and a Cat. Named after the U.S. President, Park Kennedy, John F. Kennedy Park in Lima, Peru, is a popular hangout for tourists, locals, and cats. Dozens of cats. Volunteers feed and provide veterinary care for the park's feline inhabitants. I noticed middle-class Peruvians share a near universal preoccupation with their cell phones, so I used mine to capture humans. The next photo is entitled No Chicken Today. Who could forget empty store shelves in the early days of the coronavirus pandemic? Like many other stores, my local supermarket periodically ran out of chicken and other items due to panic buying and supply disruptions.
Next images are by Bill Keaton, read by Bill Keaton.
This first image is I call Smoke and Steam. It's a firefighter by the name of Dave Liller. He's a firefighter in the Carlisle Fire Department, and he emerges from the smoke at this house fire on Banks Road. And this was an easy photojournalism photograph to take. The house on fire was 3 down from mine. Fire started in a basement corner, spread through the walls, but the firefighters were able to save the smoke-damaged house. This next shot I call The Chief Takes Control. He had just came out of the house and was red-faced, sweating, and took his gear off. After shedding his equipment, Grafton Fire Chief Glenn Thompson gives orders as his department works to extinguish this house fire. This took place just outside of Grafton, Ohio, again, just 2 or 3 doors down from where I live. 3 departments were eventually called to battle the fire. The residence was saved, but there was a lot of smoke damage. It was pretty extensive as the fire started in the basement, worked its way up through the walls into the ceiling. Again, they were able to save the house, but there was a lot of smoke pouring out of the broken windows. I call this shot Down the Stretch. This was shot at the Lorain County Speedway. Ron Nordstrom in car 17 and Michael Parks vie for the lead during a race at the Lorain County Speedway. The race was in the Chargers division, and Lorain County Speedway is located south of Amherst, Ohio, on State Route 58. I call this shot Dog Tired. Ann Delore rests with her therapy dog, Canyon, following a stint of reading to children at the Avon Library. I took this shot as a Chronicle Telegram assignment, and it was just a pause in the day. Dogs, kids, and books were part of the program to encourage children to read, and it was sponsored by the library.
The next images are by Bonnie Luxo. They'll be read by Mariah Kaiser.
All photos. Life in the Fox Lee Horse Farms barn in Venice, Florida. All the images I've sent in depict the care given to horses. I especially enjoy the image of the horses having his shower. The backpack is full of fresh carrots as a treat or a reward for a job well done. The hair left in the brush shows just how coarse the hair really is. There is much attention and care given to their hooves so that they stay healthy.
The next images are from Dave Chaborik, read by Chuck Fitzgerald.
Kent State, May 4th, 2020. To identify the spots where the students died, markers were installed in the Prentice Hall parking lot in 1999. Within each area, there was a plaque in the ground with the student's name and the date of the death. Visitors go from marker to marker to remember, reflect, and pay respect to each individual student who died. Some people bring flowers or candles to leave by the students' names. The little girl in this picture is using chalk to write her thoughts on the pavement. At this spot, many people express their thought in beautiful words of remembrance. Some still express their disgust with the actions of the Ohio National Guard. Many use the words of the students who died. On the day that she died, Allison Krauss told one of the National Guard, "Flowers are better than bullets." Her words are found most often written in chalk in the pavement where she died. We remember. Leaving a stone at the grave is a Jewish custom. It is a sign of respect for the deceased. At each student's site, there is a bucket of stones, and most people pull one stone out to put on the marker. Some people even bring their own stones, which are beautifully decorated. And his last photo is called Daffodil Hill. The Kent State Memorial was dedicated in 1990. Part of the memorial is Daffodil Hill. 58,175 daffodil flowers bloom each year. Each flower represents one U.S. casualty during the Vietnam War.
The next images are from Donald Penn.
The first photo is called Clothing Hanging in Cuba. Looking at the clothing and the background of the deteriorating building just demonstrates the living conditions in Cuba. Copacabana dance in Cuba. There was so much action and movement on stage that I wanted to catch it all. So I took this image using the multi-image feature on my camera. The next photo, black and white chandelier at Playhouse Square. There were so many features surrounding this image that I took the image using the multi-image feature in my camera. I chose nighttime and a long exposure to bring out the contrast and emotion of the area. This next photo is downtown Cleveland from Gordon Park at night. Because of the way I saw the image, I took it using the multi-image feature on my camera to capture the sky and the misty look of the city. And the final image is Cleveland at night. Driving on the Lorraine Carnegie Bridge, I saw this image. All the colors and the beauty of the city just overcame me, so with the multi-image aspect of my camera, I tried to capture that beauty.
The next images are from Elda Borroni, read by Bill Keaton.
Elda's first image is called Freedom of Speech. September is the Alta Moda month in Milan, Italy. In the most fashionable streets, the stores display the latest fashion for clients from all over the world. I liked the coat, but what intrigued me the most was the famous quote by Voltaire: "I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to death." How creative to associate fashion with the freedom of speech. The next image she titled, Never Giving Up. I was near the Duomo in Milano, Italy, when I heard a tenor voice singing one of my favorite arias. So I followed the sound and saw a young man singing beautifully with all his heart. Soon I realized that he was missing one leg and perhaps both. What a determination to never give up, a great lesson about life.
The next images are from Fran Morino, read by Mariah Kaiser.
Fran's first picture is Nino playing for his father. June 2nd, 2019, fourth annual Benedictine Scholarship Golf Outing on behalf of Joe Marino, who died of leukemia in 2015. Over $100,000 has been raised in scholarship money for new students. This golfer is his son, who starts the tournament each year in his dad's honor. It was canceled this year due to COVID 2020. Releasing the Doves is the next one. June 2nd, 2019, Ohio honors flags of fallen Ohio soldiers. Travel all around Ohio to honor those men and women, those sons and daughters who died fighting for our country since 9/11. These are a few of the parents and grandparents who released the doves in all of their honor. The next picture is gun, boots, dog tags, and flags. June 2nd, 2019, the Ohio Honor Flag organization places a set of boots, a gun, and dog tags amongst the flags in honor of all those men and women who fought for our country and died since 9/11. Over 800 names are attached to each flagpole. TAPS, June 2nd, 2019. Ohio Honor Flag organization honors the over 800 fallen men and women who fought for this country since 9/11. The bugler plays taps among the flags. Each man and woman have their name on the flagpoles. The last one, a father's salute, Nicholas E. Zimmer, U.S. Army. Ohio Flags of Honor Traveling Memorial Day Display began its journey in May of 2004. Gino and Lisa Zimmer, parents of Specialist Nicholas E. Zimmer, U.S. Army, were notified on Memorial Day that their son Nick had been killed in Kufa, Iraq. They traveled the state of Ohio honoring all those who have died by placing a flag with their name and give them honor in every site they visit.
The next images are from Jim Rowe, read by Chuck Fitzgerald.
Cog Rail number 9. Cog Railroad at Mount Washington at the water tank during ascent. This is One Brilliant Evening at the Cove. This is a special sunset like no other. Tall ships at the Cove. These are the tall ships during evening light with Mount Baker in the back. This is called Memories. In Coopville, you can find memories from the past. And finally, the title of this photo is Close. Fire and Smoke at the Air Show.
The next images are from Joe Skarupa, read by Mike Kopkas.
The first image is called Cuban Entrepreneurship. Dressed in pristine white tropical clothes, the proprietor of the award-winning wine cellar La Bodeguita Medio types his menu on an old portable typewriter on California Street in La Habana, Cuba. Out of Africa. On a lonely, dusty road in South Africa, a guide ponders the sudden silence of the savannah. Afternoon break. A fruit vendor on a cobblestone street in the World Heritage City of Trinidad, Cuba, stops to read the daily news.
The next images are from Kim Wasielewski, read by Bill Keaton.
This image is titled March for Our Lives. This protest was organized by high school kids in March of 2018 in downtown Cleveland. The young man front and center is one of the leaders. The protest was in response to one of many school shootings. The march covered in a city block and was escorted by mounted police. This was the final leg of the march. This image is called A Teacher That Cares. This is the March for Our Lives protest in Cleveland, March of 2018. There were many teachers there protesting, and this was one of them. This image is titled Silence Kills. The Black Lives Matter protest in Strongsville, Ohio. The protest was small but mighty, a peaceful protest where protesters and police were both calm and cooperative. The last image is titled Too Old for This. At the Black Lives Matter protest, this woman caught my eye, someone who has already been through the unrest and is just plain tired.
The next images are from Mariah Kaiser, read by Mariah Kaiser.
This first one of mine is Yearning to Breathe. You can see that on the sign that the young man is holding there. 4 years ago, in July, I was on the Hope Memorial Bridge protesting with many other protesters, including this doctor whose mission was to advocate for Muslims in particular, with whom he worked in Cleveland's hospitals, saving lives. It was peaceful. I picked this image because of the poster spelling out the poem written on the Statue of Liberty. This wonderful monument standing tall in our New York harbor is the statue I saw returning from working in Europe for 2 years. It was a small ship bringing people from Italy to the USA for the first time. They rushed to the rails to see liberty with tears running down their faces. I called this one Little Man, Big Gun. During the Republican convention in July 2016, I found myself in Public Square. It was crowded with protesters, observers, cameras, journalists, a conspiracy theorist, guru, and this silly little man. I wondered to myself, was this a statement? Or was he really intending to pull that big firearm up and shoot it at someone? I marvel at Cleveland that those days went by with people disagreeing with one another, but no one getting hurt. When I became a citizen, the judge who swore me in commented on this great country we live in, where the peaceful exchange of leadership takes place time after time. May it always be so. I watched as this group exchanged differing ideas. I called this peaceful argument. Both were reasonable, although heated, while the crowd around, standing on a carpet of posters, listened and photographed. No one hit anyone, nor were gunshots heard. I called this trying to understand. This makes me laugh. The spread of similarities and differences between these two men is a puzzle that could keep a competition going for hours. I'll name a few. Boyhood games, heroes, goals, ways to entertain themselves, Did I mention hair or age or things they've chosen to carry? How many can you find or think about? Try similarities too. Wall of Trump. I realized from the start that there are many who might disagree with this. Remember, this is photojournalism, and the task is to photograph a story, a happening, an emotional situation with real people. These young people were busy painting sheets in a parking lot on Cleveland's west side. The intent was to carry them across Memorial Bridge and create a wall. They were intent on their work. They were involved in the American tradition of presenting varying positions about leadership for their country in the next election. Not for 1 minute did they expect to meet with no resistance. Not for 1 minute did they think it would be dangerous. Not for 1 minute did they think they would be intimidated into not speaking up. That was 4 years ago.
The next images are from Richard Ader, read by Chuck Fitzgerald.
Monk gives blessing. A monk gives blessing to a young woman in Angkor Wat, Thailand. The giving of blessings for small donation is a source of income for some of the smaller monasteries in the area. In the hot midday Egyptian sun, a miner worker hauls rocks. The headscarf and dress is to protect him from the sun. Richard calls this Luxor mine worker. Young monks in a courtyard. A group of young monks walk across the temple courtyard. A young girl does the heavy lifting while her brother watches. She is carrying the harvested fruit out to the area where it will be cut up. Richard calls this afternoon chores. Egyptian street watcher. A man in a small Egyptian village watches the activities on the street below on a hot summer day. In some villages, air conditioning is a rarity, and street watching in the summer is a common sight.
The next image is from Ronald Wilson, read by Mike Kopkas.
Ronald's image is entitled Firefight 2. I heard sirens in my neighborhood. I grabbed my camera and jumped in my car. I got there before most of the volunteer firefighters. I shot from behind these firemen. I noticed the bicycle on fire in the garage. Of course, the flames add drama and impact.
The next images are from Salvatore Germano, read by Bill Keaton.
The first image is titled When Time Stopped and is a picture of Parmadale clock. This image is called Looking for Signs of Life, and it is of the Warner and Swayze Observatory. His last image is titled Closing Titles and is a picture of an abandoned drive-in.
The next images are from Shellie Abood, read by Mariah Kaiser.
The first one is dodgeball with a special oop. Even when this Army special op plays dodgeball with his young nieces and nephews, he means business. The second one by Shellie, cheering on my teammate. This swimmer is cheering on his teammates in a relay race in Solon. The third one is painting in the park. This painter was creating while at the fishing pier and park at East 55th Street. Photographer in his element. I caught my son focusing on a subject on a St. Petersburg beach. Go, go, go. I caught a group of Mentor High swimmers cheering on a teammate.
The last images for the evening are by Susan Mohorcic, read by Chuck Fitzgerald.
Susan's first photo is called Storm Threatening Miami Beach, June of 2020. 3 couples at the beach on the Sunday morning after the beaches reopened in June 2020, Miami Beach, Florida. This photo is called The Empty Bridge to Port of Miami, again in June of 2020. These are the bridges, car, truck, and train to the Port of Miami, where the cruise and cargo ships dock. Normally, it is absolutely packed with cars, buses, and trucks, with trains running to and from the port. It's not a pleasant place to walk. Until March 2020, the cruises ended abruptly and shipping went down drastically. This is what it looked like on a normal night toward the end of the month. There was one cruise ship in the port on Friday night. You can see its funnel at the edge of the bridge. After the George Floyd protests, barricades were put up in the entrance to the bridge, and there is now a regular police presence. Susan's last image is called Man Running Toward Freedom Tower, Miami, Florida. Built in 1925, Freedom Tower in Miami served as the U.S. government-sponsored Cuban Assistance Center from 1962 to 1974. During the era of Cold War politics, Freedom Tower embodied the American ideals of inclusivity and democracy for all who fight against tyranny in pursuit of freedom. The young man in a camo jacket jogging toward Freedom Tower was a striking image. I would love to say that this was taken during the George Floyd protests, but it wasn't. Taken during Super Bowl weekend. He's probably just late for a Super Bowl party at one of the nearby condos.
That concludes our photojournalism event for this evening. We hope you've enjoyed the compelling and in some cases evocative photos. We encourage you to revisit the presentation at any time you wish. You can pause the presentation at any time if there's any images that you'd like to dwell over and further study. If you'd like more information about competing or participating in any of our events, or if you'd like to consider joining the Cleveland Photographic Society, please visit our website, www.clevelandphoto.org. We thank everyone who entered images this evening, and we thank our readers for passing along the comments. Please, as always, send us your feedback. We'd like to hear from you. We'd like to know how we're doing, any ways that you think we can improve. Please send us an email at info@clevelandphoto.org. We look forward to seeing you again next Friday for our creative and pictorial competition. Until then, have a great week. Thank you.